Let's look at some examples of compound interest. In this first example, suppose you want to invest $5,000 compounded weekly at 4.2% over 10 years. How much would you have after 10 years? Well, let's take a look at that. Here we have our principal amount is $5,000. Our interest rate is 0.042. That's the decimal version of 4.2%. Our time is 10 years. Now let's look at our compound period. So here we're compounding weekly, which means our value for n will be 52 because there are 52 weeks in the year. So now let's look at our formula for compound interest. So this is the amount is equal to P times 1 plus R over N times, or raised to the power N times T. And let's plug in these values into this formula. So we're trying to calculate A. Our principal amount is $5,000. And then our rate is 0.042. And we're dividing this by N, which is 52. Now we're raising this to the power of 52 times 10, which is 520. So we're going to do this on our calculators, and the first step you want to do is 0.042 divided by 52. Then add 1 to that. Now take that answer and raise it to the power of 520. So once you've done that, you should have $5,000 times 1.5217 approximately. And multiply those together. This will give you $7,608. And here we want to round our decimal place to 2 decimals because we're talking about money here, so it doesn't make sense to have a fraction of a cent. So this would be $7,608.52. And that's how much we would have at the end of 10 years. Let's take a look at another example here. In this next example, suppose your parents want to invest a certain amount of money into an education fund, but at the end of 18 years, they want to have $30,000. Now they know that they can invest this in a plan at 5% compounded quarterly. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So in this example here, this $30,000, this is our value for A. This is the amount we want at the end of our interest period. So we don't know what P is, but that is what we have to calculate, our principal amount, the amount that we're going to invest today. We do know that our rate is 5% or 0.05, and we know that the time will be 18 years. And we know that the compound periods are quarterly, so that means our value for N is equal to 4. So let's take a look again at our formula. So here we have A is equal to P times 1 plus R over N raised to the power of N times T. So now let's look and put in our values here. Our value for A is $30,000. We don't know P, so we're going to leave that there. 1 plus, now our rate is 0.05 divided by N, which is 4, raised to the power of 4 times 18, or 72. So now let's again start by calculating this amount. So 0.05 divided by 4 is, and then add 1 to that will give you 1.0125, and you're going to raise that to the power of 72. So that will give us here 2.4459. Now we want to find what this value of P is, so we're going to divide both sides by this amount to isolate P on one side. So now our principal amount is $30,000 divided by 2.4459, and that's going to give us $12,265. And again, we're going to round to 2 decimal places, so that's 0.42. So that will be the amount that we have to invest now in order to get $30,000 in 18 years.